Aloha mai kako, and welcome to Inspired by Aloha, a podcast dedicated to making your day a little brighter by showcasing that inspirational people and acts of aloha surround us every day. My name is Shareen.
And I'm Erin.
And I'm Amy.
And we're so grateful that you've chosen to spend a few minutes with us as we get ready to be
Inspired by Aloha. So all of us here at Inspired by Aloha have a deep appreciation for the arts. Dance, music, visual arts, all of these things not only reflect and tell the story of humanity, but they also inspire us to connect with everything that's around us, right? Don't you guys think so? Right?
Yes.
So our next guest is a master storyteller, and one of his mediums that he uses for his creative expression is graffiti artistry or urban art. And he has over 1,000 phenomenal murals that you can find all over the world. He's the founder of 808 Urban and more recently Dear Love Story. And I tell you, every time, sisters, every time he speaks, the whole room quiets down and listens. And we're just super excited to welcome the one, the only, John Prime Hina. Woo! You have done over 1,000 murals, like worldwide, you know, and you not only are an artist, a graffiti artist or urban art, but, you know, you're an educator. You educate people. So I want to take it back a little bit. So like go way back to like when you was a baby kind. Like what was like, what school did you go to? What was like your upbringing, and what was the first thing that got you into actually art?
So I grew up in Nu'uanu, Pali Highway, next to the Nu'uanu Congressional Church. They had a house that they used for preschool, and that was my house that I grew up in. Yeah, so we were actually from the Big Island, but when I believe Pauahi was doing a tour of genealogies, trying to bring them back, was looking for one specific genealogy, came across my tutu man, brought him to the island, and when he passed away with his badge. He was an officer for Kalakaua, and his badge number is 1. So the Honolulu Police Department is the oldest police department in the world.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, because
it goes back to
Kalakaua.
Yeah, it was before United States was established.
Yeah.
So when they say, "Oh no, we got the Boston and we got New York," like, no, Hawaii is older. Sorry, we got that record. But yeah, when I found out that my tutu man was 1, I was like, "Oh man!"
Wow.
All of a sudden, the back comes straight, and then after, when you really think about it, it's like, "Oh man, now I gotta try and live up to that stuff." No wonder my dad was so strict, but that's where I grew up. Went to school at St. Teresa's on School Street. So I grew up Catholic. And then I went to Cathedral on Nu'uanu. And then from there I moved to Pololo and lived with my auntie and uncle. And went to St. Louis High School, 7th and 8th grade. And then 9th grade I ended up Kaimiki. And that's where I finished. I finished up to 11th grade. But I went back, got my GED in 1995. So I always tell everybody I'm class of 95. I don't look like it.
Yeah, you do.
But I'm younger than you. If we're going by that, you know. So, and then for the art part, you know what? It honestly, the art became a thing because the TV was broken. I had one of those big TVs, the big wooden boxes.
Yeah.
The 400-pound TVs from the 70s.
Yeah.
That didn't work. It worked for like the first couple months, and then a tube blew and nobody knew how to fix it. So you get the smaller TV and then put them on top of the bigger TV. Yeah. Until that breaks, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're not watching TV. So was either go outside and play, or my dad always had comic books. So I would look at the comic books, and, you know, my mom used to write letters to, you know, the uncles and aunties in prison, and the stationery she used just to shut me up, she would just give me some and then give me a pen and I would copy the picture.
Oh, neat.
You know what I mean? And when she, yeah, I remember she was showing my dad, like, hey, I think the boy got something because, look, he did this with pen. He never erased.
Wow.
And so they were going to try and put me into art, but my mom's not into art. So that never happened. And then I remember in 5th grade, Cathedral had a thing. It was like the best artist in the school. And Cathedral went up to 8th grade, and there was this artist that I really looked up to. He was like the best artist in the school, right? And I remember they had a voting thing, and I ended up beating the 8th grader.
Wow, and you're only 5th grade.
I was 5th grade, man.
That is so proud.
Yeah, so after, when we was catching the bus home, he beat me up on the bus. He was so mad because he lost.
Not cool.
You know what I mean? But that's how it was back then, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, jealousy was real. And in 6th grade, I won the art, I won the trophy again, but I was more confident at 6th grade because the 8th grader was gone.
I was going to
yeah, so I'm like, okay, I am the best artist.
What did you draw? Do you remember what you drew?
There was a TV, it was a dog.
Aww.
There was a TV show, and the artist's name was John something. Because back then in school, they made you watch art, like live art, and there was a 30-minute episode that we'd watch like every Wednesdays or something like that. And I remember he was drawing a dog, and I loved the way like the pen moves, because from nothing, you see a bunch of squiggly lines, and then automatically your brain is trying to figure out what part of the dog is he drawing, and then that's how it starts. The curiosity begins there, and then over time, when you keep watching, you kind of know like the pattern. You understand the pattern. You see the pattern, and then you try and copy that on top of the paper yourself, right? Because it was just like this one big mystery. Like, how do they? What part do they start with? Do they start with the feet? Do they start with the head? And so this artist always start with the head first, and then he did the body. And then as I started to look more and more into art, some people started with the feet first. Some people started with the body structure. Some people, and then it's like, wow, it's like a multiverse of possibilities. And I just had to figure out my own, like what clicks in my brain, because it's different from everybody else. Everybody else's process is different. So as far as my art journey, I had dreams of becoming an animator. For Disney.
Oh, wow.
That was my dream, was to be an animator for Disney. I went to college in Japan for a semester, and I wasn't even registered because I got my I quit school, right? And then my stepdad, who's Japanese national, he was telling me, oh, in Japan you don't need your paperwork. I was like, okay, he shoots. So he sends me to Japan. I attend this college, and then I got homesick. I didn't complete. I was like, when I first got to Japan, I had my mind set on getting my degree and then coming back and working for Disney. But because the culture is so different at 19 years old, I just I miss everybody throwing shakas back.
Right.
Yeah.
I was throwing shakas to everybody in Japan.
Bowing.
No. They just look down and they just walk right past you. So I didn't have a good experience the first time in Japan, and I just wanted to stay in Hawaii. So when I came back, I just stayed on the leeward side and was good with that until I started working the different jobs because I had kids, a couple years later.
Wait, so how old were you when you first started tagging? And what got you into that?
So tagging, the official dates, Prime's official start date is 1984. Because that was the height of hip hop.
Yeah.
But hip hop started, according to the older guys, it started in 1980.
Sugar Hill Gang. No.
Oh, yeah, that was 82.
Was
Yeah,
it
yeah.
81? 81? Oh, we're showing our age.
Yeah. No, but 1980, think about that. 1980, hip hop started in Hawaii. Hip hop in New York, all the way across the continent, started in the late 70s. right? Some say 79, some say 77. Still, it's the second half of the 70s,
Yeah.
pre-internet. So how did it get to Hawaii? There's two theories. One is through the military, right? Because the kids get in trouble from the tagging. So it's join the service or go to jail. So of course they join the service, get stationed in Hawaii, and then they start sharing their stuff. So there is evidence of like tags from the 70s in Eva.
Oh.
Yeah. And I seen it myself. I was like, wow, this is a piece from like 1971.
Is it still there?
I'm pretty sure it is there.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, so that was so that's a part of the Hawaii history and that I really enjoy talking about, just because it's like we're not that far connected from everybody else, even though we seem isolated.
Right.
The other way it came was through it was through one of they call them Crazy Legs. Crazy Legs was part of this crew called Rocksteady Crew, one of the founding fathers of hip hop. And he came to Hawaii, ended up getting stuck in Hawaii, and this Hawaiian family from Papakolea took him in, and he taught them everything about breakdancing and all that stuff. So yeah, that's where Papakolea represent. Yeah,
That's right.
awesome.
yeah, and then Trick Gasper is the one that told me this story. So I was like, oh shoot, that's another origin story about hip hop. And then for me, it was, I was messing around with it in '83, and that time, remember the cartoon Shmoo?
Shmoo.
Yes.
Oh, Shmoo. You had a friend named Shmoo.
Yeah. I used to love painting Shmoo because it was easy. You know what I mean? It was just like a peanut. You just had to paint a peanut, and with spray paint, like they had so many vibrant, like fluorescent colors. I love the fluorescent colors. And then as I started to watch more and more documentaries about the movement, I was like, I gotta level up my game. So I think by 1984, that's when everything started for Prime.
Wow. Do you remember your first piece?
My first piece?
Yes.
Yeah, it was in my room. Gas chamber. And my auntie was so cool. Like she kind of let us have our own space, but we was getting high as F in that room. You know what I mean? Because that we painted the whole room. I remember below, like where I slept, because I lived with them up in Pololo. Yeah. So that was the first Prime piece that I did, was under my window.
Wow.
And then I did some other random stuff. But nothing like the guys that were hitting up the streets, heavy, full time. I wasn't that active. I was kind of like more quality than quantity. That was my thing. It's like I'm gonna rock a piece, but make sure that everybody talks about it.
Wow.
When I started my family, nobody knew, or the kids didn't know about my past. And it was, it started in Pololo Valley, and then it just, from Pololo Valley, we moved to Waianae, and then from Waianae to Eva, and then, So by the time we reached Eva, my kids, so this whole thing started because of my son Kealoha, who passed away in July. And he was an intermediate, comes home with his friends and my daughter, Tita, and he sends his sister in, right? Because they were talking about painting the garage. But I didn't know what they were talking about using spray paint. So they said, hey, go inside, go ask Dad if we can paint the garage. So my daughter comes in and she said, yeah, because when I tell this story, I always tell it about my son. But I forgot that he actually sent in his sister. My daughter had to remind me, like, no, Dad, I'm the one that asked you. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right, that sneaky bugger, because if he asked, I would have told him no. But, so send in the daughter.
That's so smart.
Send in the sister, so that way I always say yes. And so I said yes, of course, but 15 minutes later, I smell spray paint coming through the door. And we're living Sunterra this time. So the garage is attached to the main living room. And then, so I opened the garage door, and the garage door is down, and it's like a gas chamber, and all the kids are just spray painting and laughing, and and I was like, what you guys doing? You know, there was more words in that one, but because it's a podcast. Yeah. Long story short, so I said, "What you guys doing?" They said, "Oh, Dad, we're doing this new thing called tagging." And oh man, I put my hand on my head, and I was just like, "No," because it brought back so many memories for me. Yeah. And I was so upset, and like I was telling Erin before, I said, I wasn't upset that they were tagging. I was upset because it wasn't done right. Like, that's not how you guys do it. You guys gotta do it like this, and like figure out the flow between your letters. And I got all religious with everything. And then they were like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I took their spray paint, and then I rocked a piece on the side of my garage, and my son's face was just priceless, because he was like, "Dad, how you know about this stuff?" And I was like, "Boy, I was there from day one. So if you wanna know how to do this, I can show you." But when I went back to work, I was still at Ihilani at this time. I went back to work, and I felt something like just wake up inside, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know." It felt like something was sleeping for so long, but just interacting with the spray paint and on the wall, and then just thinking like, "Oh man, I can go bombing with my kids. Wow." And then it's like, no, now my kids are going down the same road. So I had to make a decision, like, what am I going to do with the kids? Am I going to teach them the wrong way, or maybe this is an opportunity to teach them a different way? You know what I mean? And so I started talking with my coworkers, and like, "Hey, what do you guys think about graffiti?" And they had all the same opinions that everybody else had. And they was like, "Why are you asking so many questions about this?" I was like, "Oh, I was thinking about maybe like helping kids and spray paint and tagging and all that," and never got really any good feedback. But it kept stirring in me. So a couple years later, I put the call out. By this time, I wasn't in the hotel industry anymore, and I put the call out in the underground. Well, first, before I did that, I wanted to meet with whoever was still alive from my generation. And there was quite a few people that showed up, and I think most of them showed up because they were curious as to who Prime was. Like, "Oh, I want to see this guy." And then when they see me, it's like, "Oh wait, this guy not Japanese."
Wow.
Because majority of the taggers from the 80s were Asian. And that was the profile. So you don't have like nobody was looking for a Hawaiian, Samoan tagger. It was always the Japanese. Yeah. And so
you guys never saw each other. Like, tigers didn't really see who they are, right?
I knew what they looked like. They didn't know what I looked like.
Oh, man of mystery.
So Prime was your tag name
In the 80s.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
When you were sneaking around and running away from the cops.
No, sneaking out of the house first. Well, I mean, like back then, you just, as a teenager in the 80s, you had more freedom. Well, I had more freedom. You know what I mean? Because my dad was working, and I was living with my dad at that time, kind of bounced around different places. So when people ask me, "Hey, where you from?" All over, like seriously all over, because I was with Uncle for a couple months or a couple years, and then I'm with Auntie for, for a certain stretch of time. And so I got to know those areas. But as a tagger, I'm hanging out with my friends. My friends are doing it. I'm doing it. And I just fell in love with the whole hip hop scene, because at that time, hip hop just started to kind of elevate in our society, right? And for me, that was the music. And it was a culture that I could identify with because of the lack of being connected to my own culture. I wasn't that kid that grew up in a taro patch, a loʻikalo, or a fisherman, or all the typical ways that a Hawaiian's supposed to grow up, because we live in the city. So it's the video games. You know what I mean? It's the pool halls. It's it's the buses. You know what I mean? So we don't have subways, but we're watching whatever we can about hip hop and how they're bombing subways. So we just bomb the buses. That's kind of like we just make shift. You know what I mean? And even on the dance side, when we danced, we did the moves that they did, but we created our own too. So Hawaii had so much flavor and innovation when it came to hip hop that never got showcased. You know, we never got any recognition except for those that were deep into the culture. And so because I grew up with all of these things and I knew this in the 80s, by the time my kids come around, I became that uncle that was talking to all the kids about, boy, when I was your age, I did this and this and this. And nobody believed me. I was like, yeah, right, uncle, look at you. You look all fat and like sloppy. So I had to show them, right? So I went on my head and I did a head spin.
You went the OG B-boys.
And they was like, wow, you really can head spin. And I said, yep. But I was like this. I was stiff. And I said, oh, man, I think I hurt my neck. Because that's 270 pounds on that neck of me. Holy crap, that was a stupid move. But I had to walk away all tough. Right? So I said, never down, uncle. Come back, I go in the bathroom. Go in the bathroom, I was like, like stretching out my neck, but that was how everything started, you know what I mean? And then from there it's like, okay, now how do we convince people this is a good thing? Because at that time you had what was it, TAG, Totally Against Graffiti something, right? It was an organization that didn't promote graffiti, but I know that they got funding for what they did, which is to go and paint out graffiti.
Yeah.
I was like,
remember that.
That's not the way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you're just wasting resources, and you're making a clean slate for the next generation to come in and paint. So I was like, okay, you know what? That's when I came up with 808 Urban. And I remember when I first started talking to people about it, they pretty much shut me down to the point where I said, you know what, I give up already. I'm not going to try and convince anybody else. I'm just going to do what I feel is right. And so with the money that I had, I ended up building walls in my yard, and I would invite the kids to come and paint. And I said, whatever happens in this space, you don't have to worry about cops chasing you or anything. It's all good. And Uncle is going to cook 100 pounds of steak. My kids can verify it. Man, they're traumatized because of that time. I told my kids, I'm cooking 100 pounds of steak, corn and rice. That's it. You just bring your own spray paint, do whatever. So I cooked 100 pounds of steak, but only 3 kids showed up. Oh. So we gave them, leftovers for generations. And we still had like 98 pounds. So my kids was like breakfast, lunch, dinner. They hated steak. They hated steak for a long time. But it was necessary, that I was basically saying to the streets, like, if I put it out there, I'm gonna make it happen. You know what I mean? And so slowly, when I met with the OGs and I told them, I gave them my stance on everything, they were against it because, the protocol is nothing should ever be legal. Graffiti should always be illegal. And I get it, you know what I mean? Because it's our way of showing society its ugly self. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead and build, go ahead and develop. We're just going to keep bombing. You know what I mean? If you want us to stop bombing, get rid of the buildings. Get rid of the walls. You know what I mean? So I say, yeah, but, we're old already. This is the next generation's turn. So are we going to put that responsibility on them to have to continue this? And I say, my only intention is to put the kids in a better place than we were. We never had that opportunity. There was no graffiti classes. There was no, you know what I mean? There was no authority on how you did it. And that's why I skipped art classes. And that's why I got F in art. Because they didn't teach anything. Like, I didn't like rubber stamps. You know what I mean? They teach you how to carve the stamp. And I was like, nah, screw this. cut class and then you hit the ditches, but you gotta go in and get spray paint. You know, at 14 years old, you don't have like a paycheck or anything.
Right.
So Woolworths, here I come. It's all about just you have to steal your supplies.
Oh, no wonder Woolworths went out of business.
No more Woolworths anymore. Mahalo Prime.
Yeah, City Mill, like every place. Sorry, City Mill. This is the 80s. You
That's
know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
the
they
14
survived.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as I started to progress, people started to notice to the point where like police officers was dropping their kids off at my house.
Wow.
Like the cops show up, and I was like, "Oh man, is somebody calling, complaining about the spray paint?" And the officer came on and said, "Hey, I really like what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. I just cannot, you know what I mean?
Right.
I have a son that loves doing graffiti, and I don't want to tell him no." And so, thank you. And then just left the kid with me. I was like, "Oh, you can take my number. Take my number and call me anytime if your kid is here or what." And so that naturally progressed to Senator Susie Chan Oakland. That time she really believed in what I was doing, and she gave me the opportunity to work at Palama Settlement. So that's where I had the first park, for the kids to come and paint. So it was much bigger, and you could see it off the freeway.
Yeah.
All this artwork that was changing. And then a couple other guys reached out and said that, we're starting this thing called Powwow in Hawaiʻi in Kaka'ako, and we're trying to track you down, but you're so hard to track, and we want to do this. And I was like, okay, well, yeah. So I started helping them, and then we moved to Kaka'ako and started to expand in Kaka'ako, and then now it's like every school is doing murals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But nobody talks about like that one person that went and talked to the school, and the school telling that guy like, no, it's ridiculous. It's a stupid idea. When I used to show up, to do demos and stuff like that, they would stick me. I remember I went to Campbell to do a demo because my kids are going to that school. And I was so excited to do a demo in front of the kids, but they stuck me way in the back where nobody can see me, and because they said, the spray paint, we don't want that smell, and it's going to distract everybody and all of that. So it was kind of like a sideshow that didn't matter at that time. And now it's like the main focus of every school. You know what I mean? So I love to talk about that track and how everything happened. Somebody opened the door. You know what I mean? And good to see like that next generation taking it on. And the other question I get a lot is, does your kids do this? Right. And back to the story about the garage. That was the last time my son touched paint. That was the last time he spray painted. But throughout the years, because he didn't want to hang out with dad. That's not cool. You know what I mean? Like, in 8th grade, it's not cool to hang out with your dad. He wants to be the leader of his own gang. And I understand that. I get it. So I had to give him his space. So he ended up going towards music because that was his other love. Then the rest of my other kids, they're like, nah, I'm good, Dad. I don't think I want to do it just because it's dad.
It's so funny because everyone in the world thinks Prime is cool, but your kid.
They're like, but he's just dad.
Yeah. Later on, in their 20s and 30s, they started to really appreciate what I did, and because they were there, I had to sacrifice my time with them. You know what I mean? Just imagine you're out in the community, and you're spreading your knowledge on your craft with all of these people that are super interested, which removes me from my time with my own kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so there was a little resentment, as they were getting older, like, Dad don't even spend time with us. But after a while, when people start talking like, oh, I seen this painting in this place, or like seen them in Waimanalo or Kaka'ako, and my son's face would light up, and he's like, oh, that's my dad. Like, yeah, right. Yeah, right. Because my son is Tusitala too. You just don't know which side is fact or fiction. And And that's the way he plays it. So after a while, people like he would show up at when I'm painting murals. He would show up, and his friends was like, "Wow, Kelo, you really not lying this time." It's amazing. And so it was one of his proud moments. So I always talk about his dad, like he's the artist that I look up to, and my daughters the same way. Like the sacrifice was worth it. You know what I mean? Because they see, as time went on, they saw the bigger picture and the bigger impact. And now in their own way, they want to make a bigger impact in their own little community or their environment. So it was a sacrifice that was well worth it.
Wow.
So good.
Wow.
Did your the walls that you put up in your yard, did they ever get completed, like painted?
Yeah. No, there were so many layers of paint because,
awesome.
it was a once a month event that I held for, little over a year. I want to say closer to 2 years. But people would show up at random times, like unannounced, and say, "Oh, Uncle, I just need a place for paint, and I wanted to practice on your boards." And I'm like, "Boy, I'm at the beach. I took the kids swimming. Like, you should have told me this yesterday."
So they just show up.
Yeah, they just show up, and I say, I just go walk inside the yard. You know what I mean? Walk inside the yard and help yourself.
Oh, nice.
So I always kept my place open for them to do what they wanted to do, and they would do big pieces. Like every sheet is 4 feet by 8 feet high, and I must have had, I want to say about 15 pieces side by side on one wall, and then there was like another 10 or so on the back wall, and then I had some smaller, like triangular shaped walls for the tigers and all of that. Kind of like a art gym.
I was
think
just
about it.
thinking
It's
that.
a gallery.
It's such a safe place
Yeah.
for people to express and
Right.
be creative. That's so awesome.
And without me saying anything, the kids always clean up their mess. You know?
Respect.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's respect, yeah.
Yeah, it is respect. So like for me, it's like they're good people, just getting labeled as bad people. It's mislabeling as bad people, but they're all good kids. They come from good families. They just want to be creative and want a space for it. So that's what drove me even more to like push the movement forward, because now when I first started, I didn't have any intel, right? The R&D was super limited because nobody was doing it. And
Right.
I think nobody was stupid enough to do it. There was a reason, but I am stupid enough to do it. If you tell me you cannot do it, because that's what everybody kept saying, like, there's no way you can do it. Now I want to do it.
There's your
Right,
invitation.
right.
Yeah.
There's the invitation.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
right.
Because you said I can't do it. I'm
I
going to go
can
and
show.
do
I
it.
can
Yeah.
show you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We always say, right, don't let people tell you what you can or cannot do. Just
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
and do what brings you that joy, that happiness.
Yeah. And everything goes back to my work, like working at Ihilani with Amy. Like before that, I was just a laborer. I was just somebody that took the low paying jobs because that's how we're seen as, like when I look at the kids and I ask the kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, Uncle, like be construction worker. And it saddens me because I'm like, why not this general contractor?
Right. Yeah.
Why not the person on the top? Because they cannot see that far. They just see what's in front of them. Yeah. So I felt like working at the hotel, working with people, like we come across so many people, high level people, that some of that rubs off on you. And then going into this unknown venture by myself was like, okay, you know what? I have the confidence to do it. And that's what I did. I just applied myself, and I didn't really bend. I bent some because I don't have any leverage. But over the years, I started to build more and more leverage and more of a reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean? The first part was the prayer, right? Because I had that conversation with God. I remember sitting in my garage and just contemplating everything. Because like, do I stay on this path that I'm on now, where I'm making a set income, or do I go into this unknown
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, and I remember the verse, is the Book of Solomon when he builds the temple for God. I took that as a yes, and I went and I just built the temple. You know what I mean, for the kids, and everything just started to unfold like unreal kind. I was like, wow, shoot, this is crazy, you know. And then to see it where it's at now, like I'm proud of the fact that I was a part of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Finally, something I can say, hey, I was part of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I think that's where your natural talent always was, you know. And I think back to the days when we were working at the hotel, and there were so many people that we worked with, right? You knew that that's not what they were going to do the rest of. Some people you're like, yeah, that's what they're going to do the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And other people you're like, no, there's more. There's more untapped potential, you know. And so years later, when I like, who's John Prime? And I'm like, that's Hina. Wow, Tusitawa. Tusitawa. Look at, I'm so happy, right? And the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful artwork that the kids are doing was, I was like, wow, that's so cool. Then I like no more. You
So
know?
Amy, when you used to work, you and John used to work together at the Ihilani, what was he like? Like for reals? No.
What? Oh my God, he's the same.
Sexy.
With all the upsells.
John, you know, he was. We worked the same shifts all the time, and he was such a joy to work with. And but Tusitawa, he was the storyteller, and then you never knew, was that a real story or? Yeah, it was story. And we had this Holly girl that worked with us, Ruth Ann. Bless her heart.
Yeah.
She was from Georgia originally, and she was so gullible. And he would just tell Ruth Ann all these stories, and she'd be like, "Really?" And we would laugh and laugh and laugh. And but yeah, no, he was. And then you were doing like, he was doing art for parties, you know. Oh, graduation banners. Oh, I need a baby banner, baby first birthday, you know. And at that time, I was like, oh, I thought it was a hobby, you know. I'm like, oh, it's extra income though for John, because you know he had kids and, you know, all that. And then you really moved into what you're passionate about. And that was really exciting to see. But personality, brother, is still the same.
Still
Kolohe
with a big heart.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think growing up, you know, I was Kolohe. I mean, everybody was. You know what I mean? You had to, especially if you caught the bus. You gotta be one step faster than the next person. Like we couldn't ride in the car because we didn't have a car. You know what I mean? And that's the safety of riding in a car. You don't have to deal with the personalities on the bus. So you gotta be quicker, right? You gotta stay on your toes. And then growing up in Chinatown, you know, in the 70s, like, you always gotta just maka'ala, make sure you watch everything. Right, so, and that's part of it. And you never give away your position. Can you imagine, like, the kids today, if they was to grow up in those streets in the 70s in like Chinatown, Waikiki, they would get run over.
Yeah.
Because I think growing up, they catch ride everywhere they go, right? They don't have to walk. They don't have to go ride bike. They don't have to fall down and get hurt and have awies and all of that stuff and deal with it. So
That's right. We all have kakio legs.
I still have the scars.
We all have the scars on our legs.
that's our storybook, right?
It is.
Like, oh, you know this guy right here? Oh,
That's
I don't know
right.
about Sandy's.
That's right.
And then it's always magnified 1,000 times. Right? Like, oh, yeah, but
The wave.
the waves were so big, and I was paddling, and I would catch on this coral reef, the thing and rip my leg. Because that's the one that I use for my leg. I got a scar on my leg. I use that story.
I was like, yeah, that story sounds familiar.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah.
And yeah, that's why, you know, when I talk to people, I don't share my own personal side. That's my wall. You know what I mean? But if you're on the other side of that wall, then you see a totally different me. You know what I mean? The outside is just a crazy side, and I think that's the same for a lot of people. Is they put up this massive front to protect themselves. You know what I mean? And inside, I can say it now because I'm much older. But inside was a sensitive, insecure person. You know what I mean? That wasn't sure of himself because for whatever reason, like you want everybody to like you. So you put that front in front of everybody so that they like you. But do they know you? And the answer is no. For me, it was no. Mm-hmm. Nobody knew who I was except for my own kids, my partner, and then those in that inner circle. That's reserved for. Nowadays, everybody has to be open and transparent about. Nah, I ain't being transparent for you. Mm-hmm. That's none of your business.
Right.
Still, it's none of your business. Mm-hmm. But I'm old enough now to just share that and say, look, it's okay. But just know that if you catch the bus,
watch out.
Somebody's
gonna scam you, guaranteed.
So if you take anything away from this podcast today, be careful. Be makla on the bus.
Yeah, sit in the back of the bus.
Yeah, so you can see everything.
You have to watch your back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So can you tell us then about 808 Urban?
Yeah, 808 Urban is my brainchild as a result of what we were just talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. And really, it was like my conversation with God, like I mentioned earlier. I told him I'll give him 10 years. And the reason why I say 10 years is because that's how long I lasted at Ihilani or with Marriott was 10 years. And I was maxed out already. Like I was so burnt out from being in the hotel industry and dealing with the politics and all of that stuff that I was like, okay, this is the max that I know I can give full effort. Mm-hmm. But here we are 20 years later.
Awesome.
And I'm like, damn, it's been 20 years. So there is potential for more as long as you're passionate about it,
Yeah.
And then for me, it was like, okay, after 10 years, I'm going to give it to the next generation. And they're gonna take over, and I'm just gonna pull away. That was the conversation at year 5. That was a conversation at year 7. That was a conversation at year 17. Because like, damn, I'm still here. And it's because like not everybody can do what I can do.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, I didn't prepare for that part. I was just thinking I can just hand it off and it's supposed to be the same. But this it's a gift, you know what I mean? And this gift was gifted to me. And even though my intention was to just give it away, I have to, just the whole concept of awamo, right? To awamo something is to distribute it evenly, like the pole, the manapua man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
More on one side is
right.
like evenly distributed. So with the art and the organizing and the community, everything has to be in balance, right? And the kids cannot see that far. So I cannot give them the canoe because they're going to end up on different island.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's better to just, say, okay, you know what? Here, take the steer, and I'm gonna kick back and watch you. So I go now. I just show up once in a while, and watch them unfold, and then critique. Like, okay, maybe you should do this and this and this. None of that was in the original vision. The original vision was just to start something that celebrates hip hop, that celebrates the art side of hip hop, and then this was I made it official in 2007, but it was actually started in 2005, right? And then by 2011, I did this mural of that was part of this water rights project, but I painted the queen, right? Queen Liliuokalani, not understanding the impact that it would make on the Kanaka.
Right.
And then that's when I met Palani Vaughn, and he's the one that took me by the hand and kind of walked me through the protocols and through everything. And I was like, whoa, I didn't expect this. So it changed my trajectory from celebrating hip hop. Now, we're using this art form to celebrate culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and to stand for culture, because hip hop really don't give a damn. Right?
Right. That's the expression of hip hop.
Yeah,
Right?
it doesn't live by any laws. It doesn't live by any institution. Right? It cannot be institutionalized, because once it becomes institutionalized, then it's no longer a writing culture. Right? But you see it in galleries now, and it's the way the galleries are celebrating it now. It's like, no, we're gonna keep its authenticity by letting it be that free form that it is. So that's awesome to see.
Yeah.
But now when you turn that focus to the Hawaiian culture, it's like, oh man, our people are still being left behind. You know what I mean? And I remember because I did the first mural in Kakako, right, to kind of give Kamehameha schools an idea of what's to come. And the ones that I did the coat of arms with my partner at that time. We painted the coat of arms, and it was like 2 stories high. And I didn't even understand the impact of that until later. Everybody was just like, there was this huge buzz going around, but I paint, I go home, cook dinner for the kids.
Right.
Go beach.
Yeah, watch movies, go to Blockbuster. You know what I mean? Rent movies. That was my life. But not understanding like the people that were talking, the people that like come down that street and see the mural and then they start crying. You know what I mean? Because they're still connected to Hawaii's past. And so later when I started to really understand, I just made that my priority. And so that changed the way that I informed the kids, because before it was just about like, oh no, your letters. It's about the production and our way of interpreting how they do it on East Coast and West Coast. Now it's like, no, we don't have any protocols for our culture in this art form. And so I can probably say that I'm the first to do it. And that was, it wasn't my thinking. It wasn't because I'm not original at all. You know what I mean? Like all I did was just hear somebody else's observation who carries that mana'o that came from their parents, their grandparents, you know what I mean? So they have that genealogy. I don't have that. You know what I mean? Mine is just a contemporary art form. That's it. That's my vehicle. But if you have all of this ike or this knowledge, then share it with me, and then I can kind of figure things out. And that's when we created the process for 808 Urban, and it's murals. So we have an MO that everybody knows. Now I don't have to sign anything, because people are so fixed on signing the artwork.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I don't want to sign the artwork because it's not my art. I just feel like all the murals that we've done is not my art. It's not my own free thinking, right? It's always an interpretation of the community story, right? So it's my take on it, but it's still not my art, you know? And then when they ask like, well, which one is your favorite piece? And like, it depends on piece, right? The piece to me is the people. That's my favorite part is the people, not the picture. You know what I mean? So each one has a living story. You know what I mean? And that comes from the people. If we don't celebrate the people and just celebrate the art, then we kind of miss the whole point.
That's good. That's deep.
I know. I mean, I was blessed enough to experience Prime, leading, being the alakai in a community artwork project. And I'll probably say, like, it was life-changing for me, Prime. Like, it was so spiritual because the community came together, and the whole process was just very thoughtful. And even at the end of the night, the way Prime would gather his thoughts and just give thanks, and it was pretty magical. That it's more than just a beautiful picture. There's mana in the murals that he helps to create. And so, and I think you're just such a humble person. Sometimes. No, I joke.
I'm still sexy.
Yes, you are. But like, you're so humble in that, like, he always credits the community and the people. but none of it would exist without his aloha and guidance. Like, and that's the truth. So very grateful to you.
I just think that people think of 808 as an art organization, but that's I guess you could look at it just to keep things simple. We just let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go into the different communities, I just tell them, like, I'm going to teach you how to use the tools, right? Because that's what we did on that project. Was I hardly did anything. I was the lazy guy on the side. Just, oh yeah, you go paint over there, and yeah, you guys go over there, and then at the end of the project, like, everybody believes that they can do it.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. At the beginning, we're all like, what are we supposed to do? Right?
Yeah.
And you're guiding us and you're like, no worries. Just go.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about, like, everyone's so worried about making a mistake. But what if we mess it up? But he was so loving in his direction. And it's like, it's not a mistake. Just go and feel and be with it.
Yeah,
So,
that's my number one rule is, like, there's no such thing as mistake in art. There's always change your mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had to change mine.
Because we had to change mine a couple times. You know, and the outcome was still the same. Like, we achieved our goal on that project, and now it belongs to them. You know what I mean? Because I don't go on campus every day. They go to campus. So when I go into a community, I'm like, how can I bring out your guys' story, and make sure that you guys know how to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the goal, is to, like, teach them how to cook their own food.
How did you come up with the process? The manalima? Is that the manalima process?
Yeah, so the 808 urban process it starts out with so it actually starts with the pule first, the protocols. But art, visual wise, it's the manalima, it's the pilialoha, and then it's the moʻolelo. And if you want to add another step to that, it's the it's like the kapala, or the stamping, the designs, right? We've done that on a few murals, but that's the basic three: is the manalima, pilialoha, and then the moʻolelo. Yeah. So the manalima, mana meaning energy, lima meaning hand, and it's the energy of the hand that goes onto the wall. People just call it finger painting, so we'll just let them go. It's basically finger painting. But once you put mana into that, once you put the energy and the understanding, now there's a kuleana, right? Because now you got to carry that knowledge into the process, right? And so when I talk to when I talk to folks about that, I talk about microbes, because you know the Hawaiian word for microbes, or the Hawaiian, it's not the dictionary version, right? But it's the same concept. And the Hawaiian word for microbes is akua. Akua translated back to English is God.
Yeah.
So that's God in the microcosm, right? Hawaiians seen God in the microcosm. Ke akua, the source, na akua, the microbes, right? And so when these microbes go onto the wall, that essentially locks in the DNA of the people of that community. And so, like if you're really thinking about it, well, because I've thought about this, I've dreamt about this, but it's my belief that future archaeologists 1,000 years from now, 2,000 years from now, will have the technology to pull these layers of paint off and study the microbes and rebuild the community that once existed. So we're preserving not just the story, but we're preserving the people. And so that's the manalima process. And then the pilialoha part.
Cool, yeah.
That is cool.
That's so cool.
The pilialoha part is the water, right? Because everything is vai. And so we take the water, or any source of water from that particular area that has its own set of akua, and then we mix that in with the paint, and then that goes on as like the bond, right? Because in the beginning it's like all these different colors of handprints, and then how do you unify that into one color? And use water, Yeah, so you water down the paint, and then we'll roll it on, but you're locking in the DNA of the water over the people, right? Almost like baptism.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can see the handprint showing through. You know, it's just unified under like a yellow, and that's what we did on the aloha piece, right? And then the last part is the moʻolelo, and I really love that word, you know, in deeper thinking, just because mo'o and you know, Auntie Tuti Kanahele is the one that really pushed this one. Is she said, you know, mo'o is not the Geico Gecko, you know. I was like, oh, sorry, Auntie. Because she asked me, what is mo'o? I was like, you already know you're going to get scoldings. Right? Yeah, because I ride the bus. And I know this is setting me up to get lickings. So I told her, like, lizard? No, boy, not lizard. Dragon. And so, of course, I have to agree. So I do it in my Tusitala way. Oh.
That face.
Wow. But she was right. And I told her, honestly, like in my dreams, I felt like it's a dragon. But I don't want to come off as too crazy. A little bit is fine, but not too crazy. But since she said it, oh man, I've been speaking it loud and proud. You know what I mean? So the mo'o is the dragon. The lelo is the language. Alelo is the tongue. What is the dragon's language? Sounds mystical, right? That's why all of the Hawaiian words have secrets in them. Well, a lot of them. You know what I mean? There's just the language, there's a layer of just the language and speaking. But in my understanding of Samoan culture, right, when my grandfather as a chief spoke to the people, the different classes understood differently. So he would say one word, but that meant different things on your understanding and your education. Hawaiians had to have had that, right? So when they said one thing, it meant different things. And you can see it in their English version. You know what I mean? Because just the way they say, oh yeah, and then oh yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right.
right. So
Right.
the way that they present that, and I was like, that's it. Because people look at our murals as a pretty picture, but the community sees a different story, right? And then hopefully later on, the community can connect the people to the art, but it's up to them. It's not up to us, because it's not, like I said, it's not my art, it's them. You know what I mean? But if they need somebody to paint a portrait, that's me. I gotta paint the face. And then so I don't paint just any face. Like if it's a story, if it's an old story about, you know, about a kid that went and grew up and did all these things. Like, okay, here's a story. We did Hana High School. And over there, we did a story of Kahumanu, right? We wanted to celebrate Kahumanu. So Kahumanu Society calls me in for a meeting before we get going. And it's like, oh, Prime, we heard you're gonna do a mural about Kahumanu. I said, yeah. And it was like, okay, well, they passed me a sketch that was done by Ellis. And they said, us as the guardians of her legacy, this is the one that we feel is the closest that represents her. And so, you know, I was like, I really don't like painting other people's artwork. That's not my right. You know what I mean? And then who's to say that this is totally accurate? I don't know. And so what I did was I asked them, okay, well, I'm not here to paint somebody else's artwork. I'm sorry. My question to you guys is, who here in the community today represents the essence of Kahumanu? So I flipped it on them, right? And they was like, you know, we have somebody. She just did a play on Kahumanu. And then I was just like, okay, who is it? And then they told me, and I was like, that's crazy. I was just with her last night. And so you see all of these divine interventions happening in alignments.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I was just with her. And I know exactly what you're talking about. Because she's that tita that you don't want to mess with. But at the same time, she loves you. She loves everybody. Right? And I was like, perfect. Send me a picture. And they had a picture of her dressed up as Kahumanu. And that's what I put on the wall.
Oh.
Right? And so it's like, why do we have to look at our superheroes in the past when they still exist today? Right? Isn't the DNA still continuing? Isn't the akua still being passed forward?
Yep.
Right? That's the handprints. That's the manalima. That's the water. The water continues, right, in our bodies. So why don't we celebrate that? You know, instead of looking at the past as the past. No, the past is just the present, right? That already happened.
That's beautiful. It's so deep, yeah.
Wow, we all have these eyes like,
I know.
I'm here like, I never thought John was so wise.
I know. Not that we're surprised.
All I'm doing,
That's beautiful.
It is
I'm
beautiful.
just a regular guy passing on information from the real wisdom that came before me, and that's fortunately I was able to meet with the real wise people, you know, and all I'm doing is just passing information forward.
That's fantastic, though. Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, we talk about inspiration from Aloha on this podcast, and there's so much story in what you've done all these years and what you all continue to do as 808 Urban through youth, through up and coming artists, through communities. When I look at the pieces that you folks have done, you know, like on your Instagram, hey, let's talk crime now, you know. I'm like, wow, so amazing. When I see your murals at some of the schools around town, and you're like, oh, you get chicken skin, and now I understand why, because of all that energy and spirit that's in it.
Yeah.
That it is art, but it's not just art. It's a whole story. It's a whole meaning behind that.
Oh,
and
man.
the whole community behind that. And maybe it's the whole generations of community that are in there. And that's really special.
Yeah, just our manalima process alone, we've done some that's 4 generations.
Wow.
We had 4 generations come through, and now like we don't have 1 generation. They've passed since, but they still have the photos of everybody's handprint, the location on the wall, where they put it together, and that for them it's significant. You know what I mean? Like we're part of this process that celebrates us, and that's what we want. We want them to be able to take that away. That's the inspiration of their own aloha that they get to take away. You know what I mean? And we're just like we just invisible, right? And the more invisible we can be, then the more we can help them see themselves. That's how I think about it.
Yeah. Wow.
That's true. I think because people who have been part of that process, I've witnessed people go back, and I myself have gone back to the art piece and placed hands on the wall again. And there's just, so it's not just something to look at, it's something to interact with and engage in. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it really, it was life-changing. It was a life-changing experience. Yeah.
Because you guys made it sacred again. You know what I mean? That was just dead space. It's pure concrete, so you don't pay any attention to it. That's kind of like everything else, right? But think about the church and how the church is built. Like we behave differently in the church or around the church, right? And everybody behaves differently on Sunday, right? All the way up until 2:00, and then come 3:00.
Back to normal.
Back to normal, right? And it's the same thing with the walls. You know, like when we do this wall, it becomes sacred because we set up, like I said, actually it's a prayer that starts everything off, right? And it changes the water, right? Because if we're vessels of water, those prayers and those words that we put out changes the way our water moves, right? And once the water is set, now we can set. Because if this is not set, if you have, like I've been on projects where I can see the person's energy is not right, so I pull them off on the side, and I tell them, don't put your hand on top. Oh, how come? When you cook angry, the food tastes junk.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. So that's me telling him, because you're not in a good space, in a nice way, right? Guest service experience.
He just looked at me.
Guest service experience. I'm sorry, your room's not available. I'm sorry you had a bad flight. But you're keeping the same room. And you need to change your attitude. So that's what we try and do, is we try and make sure that the energy that goes up. And the other beautiful part is watching a bunch of grown-ups turn into little kids. You know what I mean? Because they're getting dirty, they're getting messy, they're getting paint all over, and nobody cares.
Yeah.
And that's another reminder that, just tapping into our core selves. If we don't learn to play and laugh like how we did as little kids, then really, why are we growing up? I think we're growing up to be more stupid. I mean, that's the only explanation I have. Yeah, and sometimes we just gotta be kids again to remember, because we got educated, we missed out on a whole bunch of other opportunities. You know what I mean? To learn, because we know, and that's why I always tell everybody, I'm not an expert. I don't associate with an expert, because I'm still learning. Even 20 years later, I'm still learning the process and how to add to it. And a couple lifetimes from now, somebody else is going to add to the process. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about art is it's set for that time, but it's not set for the future.
So, just as you have inspired people who have worked on projects with you, and you've helped so many keiki come through, when you work with keiki, what is the message? What would be one message that you would want the future generations to know or to feel or to think about themselves or about Hawaii or about art? Or is there any message that you'd want to make sure the future generations?
Man, that's a tough question, because you're asking a blanket answer for every situation.
Right.
And I don't think there is an answer. But if I had to sum it up into one word, and this was shared to me by a good friend who passed away already, but it's the word lokahi. Yeah, lokahi. What do you guys think about that word lokahi?
Oh, he looking at me again.
No.
Well, I think for me, lokahi means coming together. It means unifying not only your thoughts, but your hearts and intentions together.
I see it too, the idea, the unity, the acceptance of just seeing people as they are and situations as they are, and just embracing all of that and knowing that we are all needed for this to be together.
And for me, I see it as community, where everyone gets together. We recognize what they bring and we celebrate that, and together we can move forward a little more.
Lokahi, from what I learned, and this is my this is what I subscribe to. Lokahi is the self, and what you guys are talking about is ho'okahi. So ho'o is to make, kahi is one. Lokahi, lo is high. Kahi is one. So what does high one mean? It's the best version of yourself, the highest self. And in order for you to be lokahi, think about, and I keep making all these Bible references because they're simple. Jesus. Yeah, Jesus was lokahi.
Mm-hmm.
He was one with himself, and he didn't go tell everybody, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go take a dip in the water. If you guys want to join me, I have some fish and bread and wine." No, he just left. He just dipped. Didn't say anything. But because of the way he carried himself, people wanted to follow. I'm curious. Like, this guy has mana. He has this light and this aura. I want to go follow him. And then watch all the miracles, right? Gandhi did the same thing, right? He didn't say, "Hey, you guys." No, he just lokahi, right? And so when you're lokahi with yourself, the ulu tree is a perfect example of lokahi. Because do you ever think about it from the perspective of the ulu tree? The ulu tree grew up not knowing that it's supposed to provide food for us. Think about it. It's there to feed itself. But in doing so, it provides everything for us. And the understanding is that that's why you don't take all the fruit. You leave some for the tree.
Yeah.
When the leaf fall down, don't clean it. Right? That's why Hawaiʻi look messy. But that's the nutrients that goes back into the root system to feed the tree to provide more. So lokahi is essentially us being the highest, like maximizing ourselves. You know what I mean? So if we can maximize ourselves, people are going to see that and then attract, likewise energy.
Oh, that makes sense. I like
That's
that.
that's a good answer.
I like that kumu. Now you're kumu.
I know. Now you're kumu.
No,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense.
And what we're so the Western understanding of it, and this is what I see, is everybody's trying to ho'okahi under the flagship ho'okahi, and it's incorrect to me. Yeah, so you cannot ho'okahi and expect everybody to like join the movement. I'm doing this, join the movement, join me in doing this. That's wrong already. Right. You wrong, right? Why you gotta ask people to join you? That's different.
Just do you.
Just hold.
Right.
Just do you to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Right, because if you have to work so hard to get people to follow you, there's something not right.
Yeah.
Right. And something not right.
Catching the bus, no more car. But I like riding the car.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So, where do you find your inspiration?
Oh, this has always been my thing, and you know this. It's always been my kids. You know what I mean? Because the kids, and they say the kids is a reflection of their parents, and that's true to some degree, but they're also a reflection of their environment. You know what I mean? And how they grow up, where they choose to put themselves. You know what I mean? And so like the inspiration comes from just observing life, like life that's close to me, and then from there, it's life outside of that. You know what I mean? And so that really boils down to water, like observing water when you look at it, right? Because we're the vessels of water. There's water in the ocean, there's water in the sky, there's water everywhere. And so that's where the inspiration is. My kids is my immediate inspiration, because their curiosity, you know what I mean, and the way that they see things, it forces me to have to look at the world in their eyes. You know what I mean? Because I understand what I'm looking at. I'm in my eyes, I'm lokahi. Okay, then what? You got to go elsewhere. So you go where it's still untapped. You know what I mean? And then observe that. And that's why I say my kids. You know what I mean? But if you want to get like all into it, then it's the inspiration comes from water, the way water moves, You know what I mean? And the understanding of water, and its function in everything that we can and cannot see. Right? Because water is precipitation. We don't see that, but it's necessary. Yeah. So the moon cycles, right? I always wondered why, you know, the physical form of Hina in the ocean is the coral, or the ko'a. It's called ko'a, but that's the physical manifestation of Hina, the goddess of the moon. And I was like, what? Why that? And then I did a mural recently for the UH research lab on Coconut Island, Moʻolelo. And then the guide was, you know, when I was doing my research and development, the guide was telling me that they study the moon cycles because the coral spawn, like they release all the spores every single full moon. And they can calculate that to within a 1 or 2 hour window because of the moon calculation, the ocean tides and all of that. And I was like, damn, my Arcopuna knew this.
So smart.
And that's why they attach her name to it, because this event happens every full moon.
Incredible, yeah.
Way before our time.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So smart.
So yeah, that's my my long story for inspiration is water, but more specifically is my kids.
That's terrific. Wow. Beautiful.
So what would you say is next for 808 Urban? What's on the docket? Or
That's not up to me. Yes. Lokahi. Yeah, I'm no longer whole. No, I am, but it's up to them what they want to do. Because if I keep speaking on the future of 808, then I'm still involved.
Right.
I don't want to be involved. I want to just focus on myself. Right? And I just had a conversation recently with another organization that wants to partner, and man, she had all of this great advice on what I should do with 808, but I had to tell her, like, I already did all of that stuff. So I think the new chapter belongs to the next generation, whoever it is. You know what I mean? I don't know. So yeah, the future of 808 is in their hands.
So how about for you, like for Dear Love Story, for that business, or any other things that are going on for you?
Oh man, so yeah, I've been like purposely staying off social media from posting, because I have this body of work that I'm working on, and I think I can talk about it now, just because I have some pieces under my belt, and it's the lay series. So for Dear Love Story, the concept of Auntie Nettie and the lay. Remember when she used to gather, right? So first of all, before you gather, you have to know the place that provides the flowers. Yeah, so that's knowing the place, and then after you know the place, you gather for the people that's coming. You prepare, right? And then when you're face to face with the people, you share, right? You share conversation, you share stories. That's what Auntie Nettie did. She always had stories, but she was always in a place of aloha all the time, right? And then you present, right, or you gift. So before your departure, it's like, here's your gift, and there's the sense of gratitude. So you leave everybody with gratitude. And so with Dear Love Story, it's the same concept of lei making, but it's not with flowers. Some flowers, yeah. But what does a lava lei look like? Pellet just went off, right? And so I did it. I did it for Hoʻokipa facility out in Ewa. And they had all these rooms where they process the kids, and they're like, Prime, what do you think about these rooms? They're all named after islands. And I said, I think we go do lei around the whole room, so that way the child, when they come in, they can see like they're being loved by a lei, but the lei of that island. So thinking about Hawaii Island, I asked him, hey, you know what, just trust me, let me do my thing, I'm gonna rock and roll. Because, you know, everything was intended for Dear Love Story. So I did it. I did a lava lei of Pele and Hi'iaka, right, in a kind of abstract form, but in their natural state. So you got this lava flow wrapping like how a lei would flow, right, or an ilima would. But it's just all lava and the different stages of the lava, you know, from its hottest point to its coolest point. And then you have Hi'iaka, or the her leaves, her branches, her flower. So it's not your typical flower lei. And then in the other one, the Maui room, I did like a rose, you know, the Lokelani lei. But they also make roses with the what leaf is that?
The tea leaf?
No, the brown ones. You know, when they like the baskets.
Lauhala?
Yeah, the hala leaf. So I did a version of that. So I did just different versions of roses, right? Because there's not just one way of doing it. The other one was the Oahu one, and that was the one I was really excited to do, because we got the Ilima lei. Everybody's familiar with that. But what does a water lei look like? And so I talk about the dance of Kane and Kanaloa, right? Freshwater and saltwater dancing. And inside is all the kids' prints. But that had me thinking, like, I gotta redo this water lei, right? What would a water lei look like? You know what I mean? So I'm just working on a series of leis where I can show, like, okay, this is my process. I'm doing the artwork, but I'm talking over the video about my perspective of water, right? And these are the stories that I want to preserve for my great grandkids that I'll never get to meet in this lifetime. But I only get to know my kupuna through the text, through the paper, the palapala, because that's all we have. But we have video, we have audio, so it's good for them to hear and to see my presence. You know what I mean? But I don't want to put my face on. That's the only thing. I'm still graffiti at heart.
He's still prime.
I just want to just do my thing, and then, like, that's it. But I know I have to, at some point, I have to show my face.
Always the master storyteller. You know, that's a cool concept. I've never heard of something like that before.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so I was up in Thailand. I interviewed Keone Nunes about the art of tatau, right? How cool would it be to have a lei tatau, right? And it's different meanings, but I understand now that it belongs to the artist. So I cannot, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You know, I gotta talk to him further, because do I paint his designs or do I paint my designs with him? You know what I mean? So I don't know. But that's why I'm still learning in the process. I'm still curious. You know what I mean? Like, I was in Japan because I wanted to study the sakura. Right? But I missed it. I missed it by like 2 days last year.
I know, it's so hard. Yeah, you have to time it right.
Yeah. I mean, I could have, but I had Mary Monarch to do.
Oh, that's right.
So I had to come back, you know, and I was like, man, 2 days later, my friend sends me pictures of just everything going on. But I did manage to get some references, right? And references, not just visually, right? Because everybody's like, well, you can pull it off YouTube or Google or something. It's not the same. You gotta have a connection to the air, the soil, right? The water, the dew that comes off. Like, what does that taste like? What does that feel like? What does that conjure up when you're in the presence of these, you know, majestic flowers? And that's all part of, like, because people wonder like, why you gotta go all the way over there just for no, you guys don't understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's part of the R&D is connection to the elements, right? And if we don't connect to the elements, then there's nothing.
How do you tell the story?
You cannot explain those feelings that you get, and it doesn't come out in your artwork. It doesn't translate.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So how do we celebrate the different cultures in a lei form? What would that look like? You know what I mean? Like a sakura lei, some of the designs from sumo, right? Of course the food, you know, the fish, all of that stuff.
Mount Fuji.
Yeah. There's so many ways.
The majesty of it.
Yeah.
So just for like doing one for Japan, which I feel more connected to outside of Hawaii, like there's so many possibilities, right? And every other country, and it's like the 50-year anniversary for hip hop was a couple years ago. So I did a lei hip hop.
Wow. Oh, I feel old.
You know what I mean? It was like, how do you celebrate hip hop without saying it's from Hawaii? But it is Hawaii, you know what I mean? And so the lei to me represents Hawaii. Like,
What did that look like? The hip hop lei.
yeah, so you know there's the spray can nozzles. When you connect a whole bunch of caps together, that looks like a lei, right?
So clever.
The wires from behind
Right.
the turntables, the machines, and stuff like that. You can vili that, and that becomes a lei. You know what I mean? The shoes, because I mean, the shoes, the gear for the b-boys. You know what I mean? Because they're dancing. So you can take all of the power moves and connect the power moves in like a Jordan shadow. You know what I mean? And people that understand hip hop would know like that. Oh, that's a power move, but string it along as part of the lei. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was any kind, but even that shows like more possibilities.
Yeah.
Because now I can makavalu that, you know, and then just spread it into like different variations, right? Or different houses of discipline.
Wow.
So exciting. It's unlimited potential.
Yeah.
It's just representing everything that's important to anyone.
Yeah.
It's telling everyone's story.
And then, so I was just talking with the team this week, and the team is only one guy. That's my team.
How did that conversation go? Was he listening?
No, because so he's out in Vegas, right? And I was telling him, because he was asking me about the whole thing. I was like, it's really hard because I'm doing everything myself. It's just a one-man show. And so he was like, okay, well, let's do it together. I was like, okay, fine. So it's going to be on YouTube. Not anytime, not in the next couple months, but this year for sure, right? And then we're just gonna test it out, see what happens. My whole thing is just making sure that I start documenting, because you just never know. You know what I mean? Anything can happen, but it's things that I've collected over the years, my experiences, the people that I've connected with, the wisdom that was shared on to me that I'm able to pass on to everybody else. That's where I'm at, with Dear Love Story. And and the reason why it's Dear Love Story is kind of like it's kind of like that writing a letter. Nobody does that anymore. I think we're the last generation that wrote letters.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like Dear Love Story, body of work, and then at the end with love, me.
That's beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God! Look, my eyes are teary. It's a life journey that's culminated, and wow. And you're right. Like today, we have the ability to record and video and document for the generations that we won't get to meet in this physical life. And we pray that they're listening 200 years from now, whatever, to the story, right? And carrying on that type of legacy. So, wow.
So that's Dear Love Story.
Yay.
What else I have? I have another business with soil. Well, actually, the stuff that feeds nutrients into the soil.
Wow. What is that called? That business?
Are you guys familiar with Korean natural farming?
Oh, I was just reading an article about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I was farming microbes
Yeah.
during the pandemic,
Oh.
and it got so it got so big because this started on an art project that we did on this farm for Kanehunamoku. Yeah, and the farmer at that farm, he grows all the food, but there's a house for like juveniles, boys specifically, and they would come over, and they would have to work on the farm, right? But they were growing the food for Hokulea's worldwide voyage.
Wow.
Yeah, and he asked me. So when I first met him, he was like, "Hey, I need you to come and paint one mural with the kids." So we talked about it. Then it happened. And during that process, he taught me about that concept that's similar to Korean natural farming, right? But it's what he was able to do was he was able to translate everything from Korean to Hawaiian, and he was able to educate me on everything that our kupuna did. That's why when they uncovered the lo'i, right, when they removed everything from the lo'i, everything was still pristine, and they were able to regrow taro all over again. Like, how do you do that
Right.
over so many generations? And so that got me thinking, and that's what that led to the manalima.
I was just doing, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, wait, microbes, so it's like everything, and then he was just like, yep, and this and this and this, and yeah. Since then, I've been. He told me if you want, shout out to Kuike, if you want to change the world, grow your own food. And I was like, yeah, I agree. So I started growing my own food. And my world changed. That's it. Nobody else. But my world changed. Because my food I tasted the love from my food that was prepared by my hands. Right? Those microbes went into the soil that fed the food that I put right back in my mouth. And my kids' mouth and my grandkids' mouth. That's how you change the world. Yeah. And I turned that into a business.
Good for you.
So along with the art side, there's also the farming side.
Do you teach people how to do that too?
Nah, I'm no expert. You know what I mean? But I'm always open to just like, okay, yeah, if you like doing like this, because it's not specific. You can't really teach specifics on it. Yeah, because moisture is different every day.
Yeah, in different places that you're
Different
at, right?
places, right?
Yeah.
So the microbes work differently. Like you can say, okay, yeah, do this, and in 2 days it's gonna look like this. Not every place. Eva is different from Kaneohe. So you're gonna get different results, right?
Yeah. I think, well, I was reading that because I was talking story with the Genki Ball people recently, and they were talking about microbes, and it was like a little bit beyond my head.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, well, because Japanese lady, oh, you know, the blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I said, excuse me? She said, oh, the microbes. Yeah, it's good. You know, the Hawaiians used to have that too. And I said, oh. And then she started talking about how farms were able to regenerate and continue to give because we were good at that.
We're connected to the land.
Yeah. And about nurturing the microbes that were important for farming. And I was like, wow. After I hung up, I was like, wow.
That's
You know, but yet it's so simple, right? Like, how come I never know that, right?
Yeah.
Because we all go buy our produce at Foodland or Safeway, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah. Wow, neat, John. That's cool.
Yeah, that was all because of the art, right?
How long have you been doing that? The microbes and growing your own food?
2017.
Oh, wow, long time.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Wow.
almost 10 years. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm still learning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so like how do we, because so back home in Samoa, the land is bad. The reason why you can tell is because the ulu is not the same anymore. The kalo is not the same. Everything is being imported. Like, how is that? You have all of this land and you got to import your food. You know what I mean? So it just sounds like the same blueprint from another place I know. You know what I mean? Which is home here in Hawaii. Like, why are we importing most of our stuff? And I understand there's a huge emphasis on, on keeping local, but that's not a sustainable model. You know what I mean? It's because everybody got to activate, and in this society of convenience, we lazy. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to grow their own food. It's easier to just go out and buy. But in order for us to enjoy that, you have to be able to like sit down and really change your lifestyle. And when you change your lifestyle, everything else changes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you start to see the world differently, because it's like, oh man, I used to do that. I used to go and eat McDonald's all the time. But when I think about it now, it's like, oh shoot, I go to a fast food chain, I order my food, and if that cook is having a bad day, his girlfriend just dumped him, that energy is going into my burger. And if that falls on the ground now, more junk is piling onto it. He doesn't care. Right? And you paid for it.
Right.
You paid for all that junk energy to go into your food. That's why they say, like, if you're angry, don't cook. Don't touch the food. Well, why does that not pertain to any other place that you go and eat food?
Right.
It's still the same. But now you're paying for that. You're paying for all that if they're having a bad day. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much. So how do people learn more about 808 Urban?
It's the website. Yeah. The contact is info@808urban, and it's on the website. Or Instagram. It's easier for the kids. That's the thing. Like, I'm a website guy, but the kids are
That's
social
old school
media.
already.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what do you mean Facebook is for old people? I'm still trying to learn the new features. Damn you guys. And that's I help 808 Urban, and the thing that I'm really proud of is our newest products that we just came out with. Right? It's the coloring pencils.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Looks so cool.
I was like, I want to get a set.
In Moʻolelo, Hawaii.
Yeah.
And we're working on the next release, which is 24 colors. But it's with another good friend of ours, and she studies this for, like, that's her life. She dedicated to the Hawaiian names for colors, because it's just like the spectrum is just so broad. There's no.
I can hear a song in my brain.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's other colors. So we're gonna release them according to moʻolelo.
Wow.
So the colors of, I believe it's Hi'iaka, the Hi'iaka story.
Wow.
There's all of these colors that's associated with that.
That's cool.
That is cool.
You know what I mean? And then, so that's the other thing, is how do we make product that's more like us and not like them? Because when my daughter was in what is that? Not preschool. Yeah, preschool. She went to Punana Leo, Omanoa. And talking with the kumu there, you know what they had to do was they had to go on Google and then print out the clip art, cut it out, and then make their own according to how they're teaching. And I was like, what? Why you guys do that? Because we just don't have those resources. And so that's when we started doing the coloring pages, right? And we made it downloadable for the kumu. Like, hey, if you guys are telling this story, download it over here and then, keep the files. Problem is, not everybody wants to download. Like we had this one teacher that was downloading every week the same page. So I had to call her and I told her, come on, just download the PDF or just make one master copy. And, yeah, easy. And she's like, wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
cool.
that's all right. You never catch bus, huh? Yeah, so I mean, it's just easier for us to just sell it as a book.
Mm.
You know, so that was the other thing. We have a collection, like 40 pages of our stuff that we've been doing since 2016. Put it into one book, and we're just selling it so that we can create more coloring books. So the next coloring book that we have coming out is like a superhero series, but they're all the superheroes are our lapa'au. Right, so all our healing plants, but designed in like the hip hop characters.
Oh, that's cool.
cool.
Oh, I like that.
I love that.
Yeah, so
I like
like
that.
there's a character, the noni character. You know how they have the puffy jackets in the winter?
Yeah.
Well, I did the noni pattern for the puffy jackets. The kids can associate with that.
Yeah.
Because I just wonder, like I always get on the kids, like why, boy, you live in Nanakuli, and you're wearing a hoodie in the summer. Like why you gotta do that? You know, don't do that. Oh, uncle, that's the trend, or that's how everybody. I'm like, bro, that trend is stupid. You know, what happened? Yeah, what happened to cut shirt and shorts and slip-ons? Nobody does that. All the kids wear hoodies. I'm like, okay, well, since you're gonna do that, we'll make a character. So that's our next release. So those things I'm excited. You know,
That's awesome.
and I think if you're looking at 808 Urban's direction, I think they want to focus on the merchandise side, only because we don't have enough. We have plenty of things made in Hawaii, but we don't have enough that's kupuna ike. You have some of those guys, but in the art world, I'm
Right.
talking about the
Right.
art world, we don't have our own.
That's
So
awesome.
we hope to, if not change it ourselves, then inspire somebody else to change it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you continue
Wow.
to be master storyteller, educator, kolohe guy, bus rider.
Bus rider.
Yeah, and I'm not even Portuguese.
Don't you wish you were?
I think I got 5 more years, and then I'm gonna be officially Portuguese. You know what I mean?
Maybe special privileges.
Pocho power. Coming from the pocho way.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Yeah. You want to take us home, Erin?
Well, just want to say again, thank you for sharing your time, your story, your mana with us. And I swear, every time we talk to Prime, we always learn something new, but we laugh a lot in the process. So mahalo nui for being here.
Wait, I get a question.
Oh yeah.
What is your guys' definition of aloha?
Oh.
Because you know you don't get cracks.
And with that, no. I think my definition of aloha changes every day. Every day I meet somebody new, or experience something new. It raises my conscious thought about what aloha is. For me, means a lot of things, and it means something different every day for me, really.
I think for me, like, when you talk about like the face of the ha and the exchange of the breath, I think it is seeing people and really appreciating and accepting and taking in the essence and being willing to share that essence too with someone. And I feel like it is the fabric that it's the only thing that's universal. It's the only thing, along with art, actually, I feel are the two things that can really heal humanity as well as tell the story of humanity. And we're very lucky that it's part of the culture that we've grown up in. and it's something that should be shared freely.
Amen to that.
Yeah, Erin always has those deep answers.
She does.
Okay, Shareen.
And me. I mean, aloha for me is, it's a feeling, and it's love, but it's also, I've been learning a lot about it recently, about giving it, learning how to receive it back as well. And it's not just a word, it's not just something to say. We learned at our last podcast, it's not something you yell. It's something that you hold sacred, and it's something that comes from here that you share with other people.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, loud is for chihus, yeah.
Yeah.
Say that for
Not
chihus.
for aloha. Yeah. Yeah.
What if we looked at aloha as just a process? Right? Because people, they're trying to define aloha, and I see that every single time. Like, oh, aloha is this and aloha is that. How you know? Oh, because my kupuna. But did you see it? Like, is your aloha unconditional? Yeah, is it absolute? Can you stand on your 2 feet and defend that? The answer is no. So I like to look at aloha as the process. And if you look up the definition of process, that to me is aloha. It's a series of steps or actions to achieve a set goal, right? So when you aloha your family, it's a series of steps to aloha your family and to reach the goal of unity or whatever it is that you have in mind, right? And if you aloha a stranger, right? It's a series of steps because here's somebody that you don't know. You have to write your water first before you go and do that. And how do you write that water? You connect it back to your education. You connect it back to your kupuna. You connect it back to all of these other different waters, right? And all of these things have to happen in order for you to give or to receive. You know what I mean? And I always tell this story about the hotel industry because I kiss everybody. You know what they call that in the hotel industry? Sexual harassment. So why they get the right to define aloha? You know what I mean? Like, that's my culture. That's not your right. You know, so it's a process. So it's a process though where you have to examine the situation and see if it's the right step to do it, right? So like, I'm not gonna hug every guest, or I'm not gonna hug my coworkers. You know what I mean? Because you don't know where their aloha is. Yeah. And so, to me, that's what aloha is. It's that process.
That's neat. Because that process is different for everybody.
And that's just a noun. The verb is a different process.
Right.
But it's still a series of actions, right? It's a series of things that has to happen in order for something else to happen. Because so like as a verb, it's there to create change. I mean, aloha aina is a good example, right? It's to preserve something or to change something. So aloha as that the process, you know, in verb form is there's an outcome that you want from it in both cases, as a noun and as a verb.
You know, it's interesting. Like when you speak about aloha, or actually a lot of olelo Hawaiʻi, hua olelo Hawaiʻi, is that it's really hard to explain what it is in English or another language. Like, but when you say it in, you know, olelo Hawaiʻi, aloha, it encompasses everything. But, you know, like all 4 of us had slightly different interpretations and the way we describe it, how it plays out in our lives. It's such like a universal, powerful word, you know?
That's the dragon's word.
That's the dragon's word.
Yeah. Only the dragon know. Us guys only understand certain levels.
Right.
And that's it. But yeah, I just wanted to share
That was
that.
good.
Any other questions for us?
Inspired
by aloha. By Prime Hina.
Yeah.
Hey, whose podcast is this?
I love it. It's yours, huh?
Taking over.
Yep.
Oh. Well, it's so good to see you again.
Yeah.
I'm just so blessed. I haven't seen you in years, but so for our listeners out there, what an honor it's been to spend this time with you, and we look forward to following you and seeing what else is on the horizon.
For Dear Love Story.
For Dear Love
all your
Story, for
projects.
Prime,
Yeah.
808 Urban.
I'm gonna resurface again. I'm just kind of in hibernation right now.
That's
But
okay.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. So, mahalo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So let's talk about mom. Nah,
For another podcast.
thank you.
Shut up, man. Go home.
No, let's go eat.
Yeah.
So, ahui ho everyone. Malama kona.
Love you, Prime.